Welcome to the Council of Moms. I'm Lisa Valentine Clark, here with Wendy, Joe, and Hilary to bring together the greatest minds to solve the greatest problems. The Council of Moms, when parenting feels like trial and error, and error, and error, and error, and error, and error.
Over and over.
And then, of course, the Council of Moms made with real moms. And I'm really grateful for these real moms here to have a real discussion, just like you're eavesdropping on your friends. That fun, loud table at lunch over across the way, they just laughed out loud. And you're like, what are they talking about? What did they order? This is it. This is what's happening right here in real time. Okay, jumping into the question, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I can't give my kids the same kind of life, like vacations, lessons, extras, as their friends in our neighborhood are having. And I can tell that my kids are started to notice. What do I do? Comparing ourselves with the Joneses, are we? It's so hard. It's so human. I have definitely found myself in this position where we're like, the poor family on the middle class block or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, the Johnsons went to Disneyland again. That's so great. You guys, we went to Disneyland that one time. We went that one time, or whatever it is." And I realized that this is sort of a privileged person problem, like on a lot of like there's a lot of families that like, and again, I've been in this situation where you're like, well, we don't have any money in the bank account, but we need to buy, more grocery. Like, I realize that but I think this is maybe why it's such a problem and an American problem, right? Because you can live in the same neighborhood and have people of a lot of different socioeconomic situations, and depending on who you're comparing yourself to. And so once your kids start to notice, you may have come to peace with it, you may not have, whatever. How do you parent? How does that influence what you say to your kids or how you parent them?
Well, here's one thing.
Yeah, tell me one thing, Wendy.
I think it's okay to be honest with your kids. I think it's good for kids to understand family finances. It's okay for them to understand how jobs work, how taxes work,
what you choose to spend your money on works.
Yes. And I will say, as my kids have gotten older, they have been thankful that we had those conversations about, like, this is what it costs to live. I actually had one of my kids that moved into an apartment, and her roommate was shocked about utilities. Oh. Like, this is how much things cost. So I think just even like regular life. Now, we're not going to burden our kids with, oh my gosh, we don't have enough, whatever. You don't want to burden them at a young age, but it's okay to be honest with teenagers. I love to take my teenagers shopping because they constantly ask me for Takis and Doritos and these burritos and all of this stuff. And I'm like, why don't you come with me so you see how much all this stuff costs? Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I will say just about kind of vacations and lessons and all those things, there's lots of different ways to do things. And a lot of it is to provide kind of family unity, family activity. And there's ways to do that aren't going to Disneyland and going to Hawaii and all of those things.
I've actually been the one at one time. I think I was just watching, my friends go on vacation. Sorry, I was just watching my friends go on vacation, and winter, and like where we are, just really hard for me. And I would just mention to my husband, like, oh, so-and-so went here, and so-and-so is doing this, and I don't like where we live. I was just I didn't realize it. I was complaining. And then he finally told me, he's like, when you say stuff like that, where you are like saying, oh, I wish we did this, and I wish we did that, it makes me feel inadequate that I can't provide that for you because I want you to be happy and I want to give you everything, but it makes me feel inadequate. And that really gave me a reality check of like, oh, I'm so sorry because I don't think that. I don't think that you don't do enough for our family where we can't have these materialistic things. I'm like, I love everything you do and I'm so grateful. And I didn't realize me just saying it or just mentioning it made you feel that way. So that gave me a reality check and changed my perspective on how I was talking and approaching things just around our family and our kids. And then so that helped me. So, that was because I'm so guilty of that. And then I changed my whole perspective. And now, like, just for daily, because I have younger kids, so anybody that has younger kids, and my kids are like, oh, how come so-and-so got like a cell phone or an iPod for Christmas and I didn't? And they're like, do they have different Santas? I'm
Oh,
like,
the worst.
yeah,
Yeah.
that comes up. And I'm like, well, you know what? Honestly, like, sometimes different families have different finances and they can afford that and they can give it to their kids. I don't want to give you a phone or an iPod, or I don't want to get you a $400 scooter because that's really expensive. And I was just like Wendy was saying, being honest with them and saying like these things cost a lot. And like we have to, like, daddy works really hard. We all work really hard to have money so that we can spend on things that are important to us. And right now, like, not saving for a scooter, I'd rather save so that we can do something together. Or rather save so, like, we can go get the trampoline for a couple of years that you guys want to do versus like one purchase. And what I've done now, like, my kids, when they want to spend money or they want little, well, my one kid will go to school because she's in 4th grade and she's like, I want that really cool eraser that so and so have. Like, I want all of it.
Yeah.
She just wants everything. And I go, oh, do you know your tooth fairy money or your birthday money? Let's go to the store. And then she goes, this eraser's $10? That's so expensive. I'm like, is it? It's expensive.
When it's their money,
Yeah,
it's
and
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
That's
don't want to
exactly
spend it.
Yeah.
Or she'll go with me, so, oh, I forgot my money. I'm like, well, if I buy that, you pay me back. And she's like, that's $5. I don't want to spend $5 on that. I don't want it
Isn't
anymore.
it funny when your
Yeah.
kids are, when they find out, but they're glad to spend your money or whatever. Or like
Yes.
growing
yeah,
up,
totally.
I never bought soda growing up for when my
Yeah.
kids were little because it's expensive and it wasn't necessary and it's not healthy. All the
No,
things.
yeah.
I would just buy it for myself.
Yeah.
And but
As we
but
should.
now that I only have one kid at home and all my kids, like are grown, I have a whole fridge like full of soda because that is what I consider a luxury.
You are
anyway,
rich,
it's a whole.
Lisa.
I'm
You
Yes.
are rich.
I'm really rich.
You got to
I'm
But it's
coming
so
over.
funny because on Sunday night, my kids come over and all of my adult kids leave and they
yeah.
hide, or they don't even hide. They're
just
like,
take
I'm like,
it.
oh, are we just taking a soda sampler pack from your mom's fridge? And they're like, absolutely. Do you know how expensive this is?
Yes.
And they're like stuffing it in their pants and in their bags. And I kind of love it because I'm like, that's a treat. And I
Yes.
preserved that treat for them. And I actually get a real big kick out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just letting them like know and be like, oh, this is how much things cost. I feel like gives them a little perspective no matter how young and they're like, oh, this is expensive. I did work hard for my money. I did extra chores so I can have that. I want to save it for something special. And so if
Yeah.
you
So
feel
you're teaching them like money
Yeah.
management and choices.
Yeah. So you don't like have to, for me, I was like, oh, I don't even need to keep up with anybody because I want my spouse to know like what I value isn't like all these vacations I'm seeing and then
Yeah.
giving myself a reality check. Like I need to change my attitude. And so now like,
Yeah.
oh yes, I wish I could go on a vacation, but that's okay. I'm totally happy. There are so many more ways now, like you can create memories and have vacations and have, like all these quality time with your family without, having to overspend. And I laugh because like of all the vacations we've done, my kids like, when are we just gonna drive down to St. George? Like they're just like the
Yeah.
most simple things. Or like, oh, when are we just gonna go do a staycation in a hotel and just play?
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes we worry a lot about how they're going to react instead of addressing how they actually react.
Right. It's the memories that you create with them. And what we worry about is probably what they're worrying about. They may see like, oh, someone's going to Hawaii and I want to go there because they're having fun versus like, oh, my family can have fun too wherever I am. It's the environment we create for them. And I think sometimes that's what they're seeking, or that's what even I'm seeking. I'm seeking the environment that I'm watching on social media, not realizing that like I can also create that environment within my own home and within my own like budget as well.
Yeah.
I think that something that we could do that would help not only our kids but ourselves is to teach our kids about how to be content and how to,
Wow. Yeah.
contentment is an acceptance of who we are and what we've been given. And so if we can teach them gratitude and recognizing the things that they have, one of the trickiest things as parents and one of the most challenging things, especially as our kids get older and they're exposed to social media and they have, friends that are getting new cars and the latest phone and awesome shoes, there's just even more things to compare yourselves with. It is a culture of comparison, really, that this world that we live in. And
Yeah.
so I think the best way to combat that is to teach them to be content, and also to teach them that their worth doesn't come from all of these things, that they were actually, they were born with that worth. They came here with that. And I feel like if we can instill that in
Oh,
them,
yeah.
then it will save them so much heartache of constantly comparing themselves to the influencer online or their best friend who gets the latest and the greatest, and to just really look at themselves and recognize these things that they have in their lives. And I don't know, I just think that is something that will
I
go
do
a long
too.
way.
I think that that's really, really wise. One thing that I've tried to teach my kids is, here's the secret to budgeting, I said, and to happiness, and peace inside of you and for your relationship, is to spend less money than you earn. And I'm like, if I said that's the simplest way for me to be able to explain that. There's a Saturday Night Live sketch that's just like, here's the new book on personal finance called "Don't Buy Crap You Don't Need," and
It's the best.
and I just feel like
Spend money you
when I
don't
said-
have.
yeah, just don't spend money you don't have. But because money comes and goes, and that is something that I saw in my own family of origin and in my own life. Like, sometimes the things that you want to do for a living, sometimes the things that you're good at and that you enjoy make a lot of money, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes, like in my industry, it's just been. And so instead of saying, like, go into this or whatever, I do try to say, hey, everything has a cost, not just what has a price tag. So, like, your time, what you do with your time all day long, like for a job, that costs you something. It does. And so it's not just monetary. So you might have a ton of money and hate your job. You might love your job and have no money. And I'm not even assigning moral value to that. I'm just saying that there is a spectrum for lots of, think of the whole thing. Now, I feel like, though, I've overcorrected, and my kids are all classist Marxists or something, of eat the rich. And I'm like, no,
Yes.
we don't want to vilify anyone. I might,
Yes.
there, because it can swing the other way of I'm not working for this or that or what, and you're like, also,
Stick it to
no
the
one's too
man.
good.
Right.
Yeah, no one's too good to you can have a great career and be a janitor, and that can be an honorable living. I really actually really
Totally.
do mean that. And so
Yes.
so I try to talk about it all of it, as we're so for me, when my kids were like, hey, how come they have all of this and they got a brand new car when they turn 16 and they have the iPhone and they go on vacation and we don't. And I'm just like, let's just lay all this out. Here's what I'm good at. Here's what it's good at. And here's the Venn diagram of what makes money. It's a very slim sliver. Anywho.
Yes.
And so we chose this, but there's no shame in choosing this. Just be aware, make it intentional. And what is the idea? What is money for? Is it strengthening relationships? Are you developing talents? Are you living a good life? Are you helping others? Are you hoarding it? Are you giving it away? Where's the balance in all of that? I want to crack it wide open and make it a bigger conversation. How do you do it in healthy? How do you talk about it then, I guess is my question, in a healthy way that doesn't vilify people, but that helps make it better for everyone, not just your kids?
It is so hard, even as an adult. We're talking about, kids getting to do other things. Even as an adult, I just have some people on social media that I'm like, I
Yes.
just can't follow them anymore. Because look, they're in Hawaii again.
Does that help?
They went to Europe.
See 'em?
It does. It really does. Because I don't know. They don't live in my city, so I'm not going to run into them.
Yeah.
And so part of it is just turning it off. And I also don't know their real life. I don't.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know. So part of it, and I think that's important for kids to know too. You're not seeing everything. You're seeing the part, that is super fun and whatever.
Yeah.
But I do feel just honesty with your kids about life. And I love what you said about just, there are some types of jobs and careers that can provide that. And that does come at a cost, whether it's time in school and all of those things. Or there are some jobs and careers like you're really passionate about and you really want to do. And that may mean that your means of living is a little bit different, and again, it comes back to a conversation about what's important to you. I know I've had conversations with my kids about having them help plan activities that we do, vacations that we do, even if it is, driving an hour away to stay somewhere. It can be like, hey, you guys are in charge of looking around to see what fun things we can do in this area as a family, even if it's very basic, low cost things. It's something that they can have ownership of and find value in creating that relationship as a family.
Is there something that we can do, like to change the conversation of comparison that maybe we hadn't thought of because of social media?
I think just like what Wendy was saying, just letting them know like what you see on social media is not the whole thing. And just if you have teenagers being like, okay, you may see that like, yes, they're having the best time on social media, but you don't know what's really going on. Just as like maybe people see you that you have a new thing, they may think like, oh, you're the rich kid or whatever the kid is, but they don't know that you probably did so many babysitting hours to earn your new shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just kind of letting them know like we don't know everything about people's lives, and people on social media will always present the very best parts of them, but there's so much more going on. And the more honest we are with our children, they understand so much more than we, I think, give them credit for. They're just these humans and it's just bodies, and they already they have the best views. And sometimes my kids are the ones teaching me like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and just being honest with them. And then they can be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They don't know how hard I've worked to earn my new shoes. But I'm seeing them thinking they can just get it. We all don't know everyone's stories. And just honesty and just telling them like, well, like we have a job where, again, like it doesn't provide the same things that someone else has, but we still love our job and we still work really hard and it still has value to it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the idea that you brought up, Lisa, which is, I think what you're alluding to is basically sometimes there are things that our kids have to miss out on that actually could really enhance their lives, such as, these classes that will help them at their SAT testing or sports or whatever it is. And I think that is really important to call out and tell our kids, that this is hard and I wish that we could give this to you, but we can't. I lived a pretty comfortable life. We lived in a really nice neighborhood. Things were provided for me. I didn't have to work very hard. My husband, on the other hand, he worked from the time he was 8 years old. He did like a paper route or whatever it was. And ever since then, he's had a job and he's had to work for everything that he has. And sometimes I look at that and I envy the things that he's learned from being such a hard worker. And so maybe that's something to point out to our children as well, is that I'm sorry that this can't be handed to you, but there are so many awesome things that you're going to be able to develop as you learn to work hard and become self-sufficient and that sort of thing, to provide those things that you really want and desire, and maybe you can help out by earning some money to get those things.
I like that. It's more it's a empowering way to give to your kids instead of saying, sorry, you're saying, but also. But
you could
like,
do this.
like you can reframe it. Like I always apologize to my kids. I'm like, sorry, I don't give you generational wealth, but you have a generational dark humor. So you're welcome. That's something.
Very valuable.
You can deal with anything. And they're like, yeah. It can kind of be like that a bonding thing to them. Is there something else that is like a tricky issue for you that you feel like is just the kind of life you want to give your kids that you're not able to, that maybe isn't so directly related to money?
Yeah, I think probably all of us have that a little bit, kind of that wish and want and kind of the way that we thought our lives would be. It's a whole lot different than the way I thought it would be. And I think you're right in that some of these feelings about seeing what other people are doing and all of that, it brings up some of that, like, does this mean I'm not an okay person? I'm not doing my best, even when I am doing my best and I'm doing a career that I love and
Yeah.
all of that. So I think
Yeah.
some of
yeah,
that,
even if you love it and you're like, this is
Yes.
the biggest, coolest thing, but I want all the things.
yeah, there are still some of those internal feelings just within me that don't have to do with my kids that are like,
Yep.
oh, wait a minute, this is different. And I don't like that it's different than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just, again, those internal feelings to have to maybe lower that bar a little bit and be like, you know what? It's okay. We're not going to have a Disneyland pass, a season pass.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
aren't. And that's okay. And we'll find a different way to do things. But it's okay to, like, yeah, give yourself that grace of, I really am trying hard and I'm working hard and I'm, doing these things and we're doing this for our family. Yeah, it's okay to just take a breath and go, this is just different than I thought it would be, and that's okay.
I was just going to bring it back to this idea of contentment too. I think that we can be content with who we are, and even we can be content with some of the situations we're in. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're stagnant or not trying to do better or become more, but you are just sort of, there's a peace that comes with that when you can just accept that your life doesn't look like anybody else's, but it's still beautiful in its own way. And I think that I think the inner peace like that really goes a long way in helping us
Yeah.
to combat the comparison and wishing for a different. I mean, sometimes I even wish that I wasn't as socially awkward as I am. It's like I can be content with that because sometimes socially awkward is how people. It's endearing to them. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But just even these things that we become discontent with and wish that we were different or that our situations were different or whatever it is, if we can really just bring it in and accept who we are and what we've been given, I don't know. I just think that really goes a
Yeah.
long way and really helps.
Yeah, that kind of contentment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for sharing those. It's a vulnerable thing to share the things that you wish you could give your kids that you can't, because we love them so much and we want to give them everything and the best.
Yes.
And I think that's what brings something together like the Council of Moms, like moms coming together, because if we didn't care so much, we wouldn't spend so much time talking about it. Right. And trying to learn and grow and get a different perspective on it and to help other people with it if we didn't value it. And so we do. We value motherhood here on the Council of Moms, and we know that a lot of you who are listening do as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your time and your insight, Joe and Hilary and Wendy. Thank you. This has been so
Yes,
great.
thanks
And
for
as
having
always,
me.
please check out the Council of Moms
Yes.
on YouTube. You can see what we look like. You can see us making faces at each other. It's just above and beyond. And please take the opportunity to, this is our new podcast, to share this with a friend, to subscribe, and please leave a comment. Those comments actually make a big difference in other people being able to discover this show, and we all need help. So let's help out our fellow moms. Who else is going to? The moms? Of course we are.
Only the moms.
So
Yes.
please leave a review, send it to somebody that you like, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you so much, Council of Moms. These have been real moms, the best moms. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.